Today is Tuesday, the 30th of May. We had the Memorial holiday yesterday, so we didn't do anything, but now in the morning we got about 7/10 of rain last night, which was really good. We really needed it. But yeah, 7/10 of rain, and now for the rest of the week it's sounding like high 80-degree temps. So corn should really be shooting up. We got a few soybeans up out in the field at home here. Right over there, there's a couple, but not really enough to show yet. So corn should be popping up with those temps, and then there's a few chances of spotty rain throughout the week. But yeah, so that should be good. 7/10 is very needed. We could almost use a little bit more, but today we're flipping seed totes. Co-op's coming to pick all of them up, and then gonna put the roller away, probably get the sprayer out, run some water through it. Gotta get the tanks in the truck filled up, get all that done, and then I don't know, probably just find some more little stuff to get finished up. So as you seen, the co-op came out. They got all their NK and Brevant totes. They got them out of here. Those are going back to Lake Wilson. And then all the cropland and decal boxes, they all go back to Pipestone. So, well, it should be out by, I don't know, say 1 o'clock today. We'll have a empty shed again, which will be nice. And then we had Northwest Lighting, those guys, they came out, Drew and Trevor did. They're gonna be giving us a quote for our yard lights. They went out over the past couple weeks. Both of them did. We got 2. They both burnt out, and now we're looking into getting some LEDs to throw up there. So there's nothing worse than having a dark yard in my eyes, so it'll be nice to have the LEDs up. They did the outside ones on this shed. That was really nice. You can see them from miles away. It's crazy how bright they are. So they're gonna do our yard lights, and we're gonna think about taking all these down. They're the old style. They take about 5 minutes to turn on, and if you shut them off once they're hot, they take about 10 minutes to turn back on. So yeah, we're thinking about either retrofitting them or just putting a whole new fixture up there to help it. But they did the shed over at my grandpa's place. They redid that one about a year ago, and that was a big difference. You can really tell it. But yeah, the guys at Northwest Lighting, I've known them basically my whole life. Drew's father-in-law is a good family friend of ours, and then Drew was actually my high school basketball coach for a few years. So I've known them for a long time. They're really good guys, and they like working. So yeah, it's nice having them around for stuff like that, because if I was gonna try and go to Menards or somewhere and try and get that stuff, that'd just be it'd be quite the show, I'll say that. But yeah, I think now I'm gonna maybe go get the sprayer out, start working on that stuff. It's after lunch now, and me and Kyle are taking the 180 over to my grandpa's. Gonna unhook from this and then probably get the sprayer out. But for Kyle's first time hauling the roller anywhere. Having fun yet?
Yep, just making sure I don't break anything. I don't want to mess it up my first time. Wait till like the second or third time.
Yeah.
Which will be hopefully next year because we didn't use it this year.
Nope,
so.
not gonna use it this year anymore. So yeah, he'll have his chances next year.
Well, we successfully made it over here to the other farm and got the bean roller put in place, and no bean rollers were harmed in the drive. Pretty good getting a lesson one-on-one, you know, about how wide to turn. I know previously I looked at that and it said 45-degree angle, and then I'm like, seems like some very wide turns, but maybe it's not quite as bad as I thought. And I'm sure now that I'm trained in, next year he'll expect me to be driving that thing around. I did notice I had to pull through the field a little bit back here to get this in the parking spot, and we'll come take a look at this here after a while. But I definitely noticed that in this first 40 that Nick planted, we've got a nice row of beans up, and that was before we got the 7/10 of rain. So that was with 0 precipitation between the time that was planted and when that came up. So that's pretty cool to see. I know we were excited when the corn came up, and I think we're just as excited to see these beans come up. We got the sprayer back home now, and Nick just turned on the hydrant, filling up the tanks. All 3 of those tanks are joined, so we don't have to worry about switching hoses or anything. It'll fill all 9,000 gallons. I don't know if there's any nerds like me out there, but I was just curious. I did some quick math, and what are you feeling? I guess 10 gallons a minute? 8? So I did it at 10, so you're doing 600 gallons an hour, 9,000 gallons, comes out to 15 hours to fill this thing. So I guess spray 9 loads, wait 15 hours, and you can spray 9 more. So we're waiting for water to fill up here, and then we'll run some through the sprayer to get some of the antifreeze from winterization out. But so we decided to pull the planter in here. There's a little bit of beans left from last week when we finished, and we're going to empty those. So we probably won't bore you with all the details because I think it was like 3 videos ago we just did this when we switched over from corn to beans. So it's going to be the exact same process of dumping these manifolds, and then eventually pull the bar out so the bulk tank up top can get all the way empty. And we'll take what we get out of here, and then we'll come and we have this seed tote that I guess gets leftover seed in it all the time, and we'll dump that into there. So after that, we're not sure how much time we're going to have today, but what we like to do is we like to take these row units apart and get the mechanism that spins the seed out, get that changed over back for corn, and then get the bean plate out of this, and then we leave the corn plate out but just leave it totally empty for the spring or for the winter or the off season, and then we pick it up back up next year again, and all you have to do is put the plate in it, put the speed tubes together, and you're ready to plant corn again.
Pretty much.
Alright, so we noticed that down in here, right there, we've got some beans that are, looks like they got moisture. We're gonna check all of our settings around the for the clips here for the lids. I don't know if moisture's leaking in there a little bit, but so Nick tried to get these from the bottom, and it sounds like the only way we're gonna get this is if I crawl down in here and try to get them that way. So we'll see. Looks good. Oh yeah, there's water dripping off the edge of that.
Is there?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So. Yeah. So, I don't know if it's the lids or what, but for some reason,
It's the lids for sure.
yeah, on both sides, it's the furthest back manifold. It's just soaked and
That one had enough water in it where I don't think it could have even.
yeah, I mean, so whatever's in here is definitely getting dumped again because it's soaked. So we'll get this cleaned out again like we did the outside and see what the inside of the bulk tank looks like at the way bottom.
Yeah, because this one had more beans in it, didn't it?
Yeah, quite a bit more because that I think it was the other side. Yeah, it was the other side that was just planting that. It was this side that was planting half down. The other side wasn't planting.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like we got the same situation with this. It's going down there and we're trying to get them out. Same spot, and yeah, I don't know why these covers are leaking, but you can tell there's water up here too on the lids. So we'll have to try and look into that and see why it's doing it, because the gasket that's on the lids shouldn't be letting anything through. They're air pressurized, the tanks are through the vacuum, so there should be no way for the water to go, but it is. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, my main concern is like for next year, say it happens to rain and you've got a full, you know what I mean? Both bulk tanks full. That could be really bad.
Yeah, that could be terrible.
Pretty expensive water leak, I guess, is what I would say. Well, we've encountered our first issue of the day. We just went and messed with the planter, emptying the bulk tanks for like, I don't know, maybe an hour, half hour. And we came back to the shed where the sprayer trailer is, and you can hear water running outside of the trailer, not into the tank, but the hose is running into the tank. So clearly something is wrong. Pretty dark in here, but oh yeah, it's just pouring out of this front corner.
Doesn't make any sense, but
Right.
see which one drains first. I shut them all off so they're not connected.
Oh sure, so then whatever one loses water, you
Yep.
know that that's going to be the one leaking.
Yep.
Alright, we'll see what happens.
Oh, we found our leak. Damn it. We left the drain plug out of the pump. Thank God it was just that. Yeah, not our brightest moment. I don't even know where that plug is.
Well, it feels a lot better than having to haul out or take this whole thing apart to get to the tanks and things like that. So I guess I'd rather
I'm happy with that.
admitting that not our brightest moment
Nope.
and that nothing is actually wrong.
I can't believe we didn't notice it when we were up here looking at everything.
Well, I think the problem is that it's at a slant like this, so the water is running to the front of the trailer, which made me think like there's something significantly wrong up there.
Yeah.
And it was barely dripping off back here, so we were focused up there, and yeah.
Yep, and it was trickling out of over there, so we must have thought that was the noise instead of the water gushing out right there.
We couldn't even hear it over that other water though earlier. So
God.
oh well.
Yep.
Live and learn. Too bad you couldn't fix those quad tracks like that.
Yeah. It's next afternoon now. I had a doctor's appointment this morning that ran them for a while, and it's just after lunch, so I'm gonna take a little time and make sure the sprayer's ready to go. I'm in the shed now, and the water's off. It's been off since about 10 o'clock last night. But we've got another issue. The tanks are about half full, and it's a good leak somewhere. I looked for about 5 minutes, probably about 20 minutes, and I cannot figure out where it's at. The water is up to about here if it'll focus. It's about there, so a little under half, I'd say. But I don't know. I cannot find any of the tubing and the pump. There's nothing really that wet. And I don't think it could be the condensation coming off of the tanks, because that's quite a bit of water that's dripping off of there. And yeah, the plug isn't leaking that we figured out yesterday, and I don't see anything dripping, and none of them are all that wet, so I don't know what's causing that. But yeah, might just call that even par for the course and just use it that way for a little bit until we don't have such a humid day and take a look at it. So we got the truck backed up, got the water hooked up to the sprayer, but it looks like we're about to get some thunderstorms, so hopefully that holds off for a while so I can actually run the pump on the sprayer and get out and check it and make sure everything's running the way it should. But still, after last year where we didn't get a rain after we got planted, it's hard to complain about rain right now. But we don't really need it right now. In about a week we could use some. Let's see if the pump starts. To see if there's any water coming up it, but you can get some sediment built up in the lines, and it's better to let it run now while you're outside looking at it rather than when you're in the cab and it's full of chemical. And just make sure nothing gets in any of the tips, and they're not gonna get full of junk and not be able to spray right. But surprisingly, after sitting all winter, none of them have done it yet. We do have a leaky valve right there, but that's not too bad. I'm sure a couple other of them are leaking too. But yeah, everything looks pretty good.
I stepped inside the shed here. We're spraying out the water out of the tank, or the sprayer. Just getting some of that antifreeze from winterizing it out. Nick's giving it the once over, but I don't know, I'll pan to the west here. The wind has come up, it's like 30 some miles an hour again, and it looks like we're about to get pounded with rain and hopefully no hail, because all of the crops, even the beans that he planted last week, are up, and I'd hate for that to get hailed on right away. So here's what it's looking like. See what happens there. I might keep him out of the field spraying for a little bit, but we'll see.
So we checked it over while we were out there. Everything seems to be running pretty good. There is one of these dump valves on a section that was leaking a little bit, but we've had that past years. It's that same one. No matter what, if you take a vice grip to it or what you take to it, it will not stop just dribbling, so it might be time to get a new one. But all the nozzles really, they didn't have any debris in them to stop them from pulsing. So then the fan looked pretty good. Looked like even coverage to me. So I think we're gonna call that pretty good for today, just with the storms coming in. It's sounding like it's gonna get kind of nasty, but we'll see what that brings. And yeah, probably tomorrow I'll run a few more just water loads through it and make sure it's rinsed out of all the RV antifreeze that was in it. And then yeah, maybe Friday or Saturday morning we'll start spraying. I'm gonna try and get some chemical tomorrow, get the trailer set up right for all that, and then yeah, should be go time on spraying too. But yeah, if you like the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Just getting some feedback in the comment section really is nice, because it tells me what you guys want to see if you like the video. But yeah, till next time, thank you.